In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, citizens! You're now trapped in a nerd cage with your hosts Mark and Jay. We hope you have a smashing good time.
What's up, everybody? Super excited to be here as usual. And yes, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, Kung Lao himself, Mr. Anthony Marquez. How are you tonight, sir?
Awesome. Glad to be back on Nerd Cage Live. My favorite show ever. This is awesome. I love it. I love hanging out with you guys. It's always a big party. So let's get this party started.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming back. We have been chomping at the bit to have you back ever since we found out that you're our big MCU fan. I've had tons of questions to kind of chop it up with you about, and I know that Jay's got a ton more questions about MK and about a bunch of stuff, the UFC and all kinds of good stuff. So let's just go ahead and get into it. But first, Joe, who do we have in the chat tonight?
Oh, the chat is blowing up tonight. You got Paul Tackett, you got Scott Bannock, Shay Smithers, Titan Goji's here.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Blowing up. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for showing up tonight.
Yeah, and so I love the MCU, but really, I my first exposure to comic books and comic book superheroes was Batman 66. And so I love, Batman, Superman. I especially love like the Justice League when George Perez was on that. I loved Teen Titans when George Perez and Jerry Conway were doing that. Crisis, the original Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right.
If we're talking DC, I love DC. I love, to tell you the truth, Henry Cavill should still be Superman.
I agree.
So wherever we want to go, I'm a geek, whatever. Let's see where we can go.
Yeah. You mentioned Teen Titans there. I'm a big Teen Titans fan myself. Do you have like a favorite Titan from the comics that you'd maybe like to see like in a live action setting?
Okay, so I'm always, Nightwing's my guy. Pop collar Nightwing. Collared Nightwing.
Old school Nightwing.
Yeah, dude. If I could run around pop collared Nightwing suits, that would just make my day. But yeah, Nightwing's my guy. I love him. I love how he's the more balanced version of Batman. For me, he has all the skills of Batman. He's maybe, like, if Batman tops out at 10 across the board, sometimes Nightwing, tops out at 10, sometimes he tops out at 9.5. Maybe his agility is better, but he's more balanced. People would want in my opinion, people want Batman to lead because he has an answer for everything.
Right.
Nightwing is a leader because people know that, hey, Nightwing is going to try to get all of us through this adventure, through this mission, as opposed to, well, you know what, there's sacrifices have to be made, and this is how we're going to do it. So that's what, I love Batman, I love Nightwing, I love how Superman, Nightwing gets his inspiration not just from Batman, but from Superman also. So I think he's like the best of both worlds. So,
right on. In fact, I think he gets his name from a story that Superman told him.
Yeah.
So speaking of Nightwing and the Teen Titans, have you got a chance to check out the live action Titan show on HBO Max?
Hold on. So which one is that? Is that the which show are we talking about? The live act? Is that the one? Here, spoilers. If you guys don't want to.
We're good with spoilers today.
What's that?
We're good with spoilers
today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the one where the show where Wonder Girl died. That's
the one. It used to be on DC Universe.
Okay.
Now it's on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that version of Nightwing. I like that version of Nightwing a whole lot more than the Chris O'Donnell, Robin, Nightwing kind of mashup that was going on back in the 90s. But I like that. I think there's a lot of things that they get right in that show. There's a lot of things that I'm not crazy about. But I'm very familiar with that show. But how do you kill off Wonder Girl? What are you?
And in the dumbest way, in my opinion.
God!
Yeah, but I actually love my favorite episode. Probably was the one with Aqualad. Yeah, that was so awesome, man. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Have you checked out Superman and Lois yet?
I have not. I've only seen clips of that. I think for a TV show, it looks great, and I love Superman. I love that they switched out the costume. I hated the Superman costume on Supergirl. Hated. Yeah. Especially the way the cape connects to the costume.
Right.
And so I really like the costume on Superman. You know what bothers me though? All right, so Christopher Reeve's costume did it well, and then like the Superboy, the spin-offs or whatever you want to call those after that. But like the way the neck and the cape connect, I think they did that well in Christopher Reeve. I like it. I think the costume, obviously Henry Cavill's costume, I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
But like the Brandon Routh Superman, and even this one, this newest iteration, I hate how it's like a regular shirt, and then somehow the
cape's like tucked in.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about that. I like how it's more open. Like even on Cavill's suit, it's a little bit more open, and then the cape connects there. I love that look. But I hate this T-shirt and you're tucking the cape into the T-shirt. I hate that look. That drives me batshit crazy.
on the show, they make a point of saying that his mom made the suit for him. Like out of the, like he like saves this kid, and he's like, "Oh, thanks so much." Like, "Oh, by the way, I love your costume." He's like, "Thanks, my mom made it for me." He flies off.
So even in the like not in the original version, but that's been one of those ongoing things, right? Where it's like in some stories it was like the blankets that he was wrapped in, and that's what his mom made the suit out of. So, but I wish I was there with his mom. Like, hey, Ma Kent, can we do something about the collar?
Right. We can make some modifications here.
Yeah.
Paul Tackett has a bit of trivia. He says Nightwing's name is based on the Candor version of Batman, right?
Yes.
Candor, I guess it was Nightwing and Flamebird.
Yes. Well played.
Yeah. Paul Tackett is like.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was the story. The Candor story was the one that Superman told Dick Grayson.
Exactly. I was going to say Paul Tackett is like our resident comic book expert. So like I thought I knew a lot about comics until like he started showing up to the shows and he like breaks stuff down. I'm like, oh, I never knew that. So
that's great. Like in every endeavor, there's levels to this shit. You always do that.
Have you, Mr. Marquez? Have you seen the leaked photos of Flashpoint where we have Michael Keaton back as Batman, and they got Supergirl in her Supergirl outfit? Looks really awesome.
Okay, yeah. So I'm geeking out over. Man, Michael Keaton looks great. He, I don't know if with whatever they're doing with his hair now or whatever. But that pic, he looks great. He looks like he looks like. Not quite. He looks like Batman. I don't think he's old enough for Batman Beyond yet.
Right. Give him a few more years. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think he looks like he could step back into the suit and still, get business done.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So maybe in a couple of years he'll be in the suit and he can't get business done, and he picks up that gun, and then he's shaking, and then he decides, no, you know what? I can no longer do this. Hey, Terry, how about you suit up?
Who would you cast as Terry McGinnis if they were to make a Batman Beyond movie?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Man, I'm drawing a blank. What are people saying out there? Well, who would you cast as Terry McGinnis?
Well, my first pick is the guy named Timothée Chalamet, and a lot of people don't know who that is, but he's going to be. You know who he is?
No, I don't know.
He's going to be the star of the upcoming Dune movie.
Okay.
So he's going to be like the main character in Dune. Fantastic actor, in my opinion. He's like, for his age, like he's on par with like a young Daniel Day-Lewis. Like if he chooses the right roles and keeps going the way he's going, he could be like one of the great like American actors. That's like what I really think.
Wow.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, he would be my first pick. Guys in the chat, like, let us know like what you think. Who would you pick for those of you who know about the Batman Beyond cartoon and comic books and stuff like that, who would you cast as Terry?
Yeah.
Just let us know.
And keep it in comic book movies, but I want to shift over to the MCU. I definitely am interested to hear what you have your take on this, Mr. Marquez. But can we all agree that Shang-Chi looks badass? So I definitely want to hear your take on Shang-Chi, because in my mind, it's kind of like Mortal Kombat. So what are your thoughts on it?
When you're watching this, it's like, it is very much, Marvel Cinematic Universe meets, Enter the Dragon meets Mortal Kombat, but especially like those 70s Kung Fu movies. If it were, if I were a kid now, I'd have that same feeling where, I had as a kid watching those Kung Fu movies, like, oh my God. And then to have the Kung Fu movie feel, plus, oh, you know what? Captain America might walk in on this one. Who knows?
Right.
It's just mind blowing. How can you beat that? I'm so looking forward to Shang-Chi. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely. We even got the now I don't know how big you are in the Rocky films, but the gentleman that played Drago's son is one of the bad guys there in Shang-Chi.
Oh, is he? What is that guy's name? The guy with the fire blade thing. Is that him?
I think so. Yeah, because there's the Mandarin, and then there's the other guy that he was fighting on the bus, and that was the dude. Yeah, that's Drago's son.
Oh, how do you like that?
I don't know if you saw
even realize
Creed 2.
that.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Creed 2, but yeah, he was.
Okay, full disclosure.
Yeah.
I love the Rocky movies. I love them. And Creed, I love Creed or whatever. But okay, I gotta be honest with you guys.
That's fine.
My character is Rocky Balboa, and Creed is great. Creed, serves the story, Next Generation, and all of this good stuff, and I totally love it. But for me, watching Creed, the most the most intriguing parts was when it was focused on Rocky. Rocky's my guy. And so I didn't watch Creed 2, it's like, because the story is then, I don't know where it's going, but it's no longer Rocky's story.
Right.
It's Creed's story, which is great. But Rocky's my guy. Rocky's my guy. So.
Yeah,
all right, Mark, Paul Taggart has an answer to your question from before. He says they should cast an unknown for that role.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Shay Smithers asks, have any of you guys seen the movie Snowpiercer? Says there's an actor in the movie, Luke Pasqualino, who would be great for Nightwing in a future.
Okay. I have seen the movie Snowpiercer, but it's been a few years, so I'd have to look up who that actor is. But I believe you. I'll take your word for it. I'm not familiar with this actor. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna look him up right now as we're talking.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then while keep it in the MCU, Mr. Marquez, you were just telling us off air the Loki. Loki's getting a lot of buzz right now. So what are your initial thoughts on Loki so far?
Okay, so I've watched the first episode, and so this is my watching pattern, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I'll watch all the reviews, all the previews, all the reviews on each episode, and then on Sunday night I'll watch the episode. And I'll do all of those until the final episode, and then I try not to watch anything and try to go into the the finals, to be surprised in whatever happens there. But I love the Loki character. I love Tom Hiddleston. Owen Wilson. How can you go wrong with Owen Wilson? I love with Renslayer and how they're going to pull everything with Kang, and I guess Kang's going to be maybe the big bad, maybe for this whole multiverse phase 4, and however far this goes into. So I totally dig it. I can watch Hiddleston and Owen Wilson just kind of sit there and talk.
They're great together.
Yeah, it's great.
And we got Black Widow coming out in 2 weeks.
Oh, dude, yes. And so that's I'm very much in that same camp. I feel bad that her movie is coming out now. Maybe it should have came out. That should have been the movie that come out between Infinity War and Endgame or something like that, or before, right after Civil War, or however you want to play this or whatever. But yeah, she's we've been following Black Widow since Iron Man 2, and if you're going to stick her movie in there somewhere, to tell you the truth, she's the one who, if you're following this story, she should have been the one in between Infinity War and Endgame.
I can agree with that.
As a business, as something that keeps moving forward, maybe you're wrapping up Thor's Thor and Cap and Iron Man stories, and through phase 1, 2, and 3, and you want this audience to move forward with new heroes or whatever. And so I guess you plug in Captain Marvel. But for the cats who are invested in the Avengers, in this story, let's for me it's like, how about we just wrap this up in a put a good bow on it, and this is this chunk, and then the next generation takes over. But as a business, you just keep having them flow into the next one. So I get it, but man, Black Widow, she's an OG. She should have been encapsulated in
right. Yeah, I mean, and there's so many fans, that have been waiting for years for a Black Widow movie, like since the first Avengers movie came out. Like, where's the Black Widow movie? Because everybody, had their solo films, except for her and Hawkeye. But I remember hearing like years ago, like, man, how come Black Widow doesn't have her own movie? Now finally it's coming. So hopefully, hopefully people come out to theaters for this, because we know it's like a day and date kind of a thing where it's going to also be on Disney Plus. Personally, I hope that it does well, like people actually turn out and go and see it in the theaters, and that it does well, so that the rest of the MCU does well going forward, coming out of this COVID pandemic.
I think this is going to kind of test the waters to see if people were just in it to see the Avengers come together, or if they really want to see these single character movies.
Right. You're probably right. I also think like this is a good setup. I don't have any insider information, but I think that Florence Pugh's character is probably going to go forward as like the next Black Widow, and I think that this is probably going to set that up.
Yeah, isn't that the talk? You have her Black Widow with U.S. agent and whoever, maybe obviously I didn't see it, but maybe Taskmaster, and whether it's a Dark Avengers or whatever they're trying to, you still got Abomination somewhere, maybe on the raft or wherever Abomination happens to be, and
he's going to be in the She-Hulk TV series. Yeah.
One character I want to see if they ever bring her out is Ironheart.
Oh, they're developing an Ironheart TV show. Yeah, I think they've actually cast Riri Williams.
So all of that stuff is like in the future, like Ironheart, Armor Wars. So there's so much of She-Hulk. There's so much that's in development coming down the pipe. So let's see how this goes. But I think you're absolutely right. Let's see. Is it something that people were so excited about watching? The original Avengers come together, because something like that has never been done before. You're taking multiple franchises and making into a mega franchise. And can you keep that momentum going, or do you switch gears and now you have different stories for different individuals? Who knows? But that's why we're fans, and that's why we tune in. And it's like, that was the greatest, or oh my God, you know what? That was garbage. But we're here.
Right on.
Titan Goji has a question for Mr. Marquez. He says, are you into any anime like Gundam, Guyver, Fist of the North Star, Attack on Titan, etc.?
Okay, so again, like especially Dragon Ball Z. Love Dragon Ball Z. Fist of the North Star. I remember, I was somewhat into like Guyver, Booster Armor, Gundam. What was the? Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? The Battlestar Yamada.
Star Blazers.
All of that good stuff. Yes. But what I really gravitated towards was Dragon Ball Z, especially through the through Majin Buu. Oh, are you kidding me? Who knows?
You know what? I'm sure Titan Goji's probably doing backflips right now, because I think that was the answer he wanted. So.
Jay, Paul Tackett says we should talk about the 36th Chamber of Shaolin now that you've seen the movie.
Yes, that's true. So Paul Tackett was such a gentleman. He sent me some movies that I needed to watch, and one of those movies was the 36 Chambers. He knows I'm a Wu-Tang Clan fan. He sent me 36 Chambers of Shaolin, and man, I loved it. And another thing too is I'm watching this movie because I read your book. Shameless plug. Everybody needs to pick up Kung Fu Rockstar. You see it right there, right there next to the chat.
There you go, nice segue.
Link is in the description. Everybody, pick up Kung Fu Rockstar. But anyway, I remember reading your book, Mr. Marquez, and you were talking about how you and Ho Sung Pak, who's Liu Kang, by the way, when you guys went to go train in Shaolin, right? Like you guys went to China and train, and I'm watching the 36 Chambers. And I'm like, oh my God, is that the stuff that Mr. Marquez went through?
That was exactly how that
went. So you're carrying buckets of water with knives on your arms and.
That's exactly.
Oh my God!
Everything that you saw in 36 Chamber was the God-honest truth, and that's how Ho Sung and I trained together, and that's how we bonded.
Yes.
Wow!
That's the secret fatality.
And then we got the, you got the incense next to her head, and we're watching this thing.
Oh my God! That train.
That's why
That
my
was so
hair's so
great.
long now, because there's so many burn marks.
Yeah, cover them up.
Yes.
Oh my God! I had the time of my life watch. So Paul, thank you for sending that movie, and I'm like I said, Mr.
That's a
Marquez,
good
I'm
pick.
blown away by this. Let's see.
Scott Panic says both his kids earned orange belts yesterday in karate.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations. That's
Congratulations.
great.
Absolutely, that's good. That's nice to hear, Scott. And yo, Shay's got something too, Joe. If you want to read that.
Yes, he says he loves you so much for DBZ, Mr. Marquez.
Got a lot of Dragon Ball fans in here.
Oh yeah. That's why you were in Nerd Cage.
So yeah, to tell you the truth, son, I go over this all the time. What was it? It was like Cartoon Network or whatever. I can't remember where we were watching Dragon Ball at the time. But okay, so now the fate of the universe, and it's Majin Buu and the whole 9 yards, and Goku's there and he gets his spirit bomb. Everyone's contributing. And and then that ends, and then it becomes what was that? What was the next show on? I think it was like Naruto. I think it was Naruto.
Oh yeah.
But for me, it was just like, okay, so they're ninjas or whatever running around, but we just saved the frickin' universe. I can't get into this. the stakes were too small, and so so I couldn't get into Naruto. But yes, oh my God. Well, from watching, Goku and the Nimbus Cloud, and him being a freaking giant monkey, and then, meeting Chi-Chi, and then, here comes Vegeta, and then, the androids, and, and then Majin Buu. I was like, are you kidding me? That's the greatest story ever told. That's like the Bible. That's it.
Okay.
So since we're talking about it sounds like we're talking about the Toonami area, of Cartoon Network. Did you ever get into Yu Yu Hakusho? Because that's one of my favorites.
Oh, really? Okay. So, and this is how all of this would play out. So my son Taylor was, a really young kid at the time, and so it would be, Dragon Ball Z, and then I'd have to. This is a recurring theme here, and then it's Dragon. I have to go open a school and teach the kids classes. Soon after, but it would never actually line up all the way where, last time on Dragon Ball Z, and then you watch an episode, next time on Dragon Ball Z, and they would have to watch the whole thing. It's like, okay, now we gotta go open a school and teach classes or whatever.
Right.
And I'd always be a couple minutes late because next time we'd have to sit through that.
Right.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, but it was, I'd pick Taylor from school, or, I think that's how it went. But for sure would be watching Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Pick him up from school, he'd have a snack, we'd go watch Dragon Ball Z, then off to class. And then, would go through, would teach and train and the whole 9 yards, he'll do his homework. And then I know he would watch a little bit of Toonami, before bedtime. But what I was really attracted to was Dragon Ball Z.
Right on.
Very nice. So, Mr. Marquez, I wanted to bring this up to you. Good way segue going to anime into Godzilla, actually. So there's a brand new Godzilla anime that just dropped on Netflix today called
What is that?
Godzilla Singular Point. It's brand new, just dropped today on Netflix. I got 6 episodes in before we went on air, but I just want to say this right now. I think you will dig it. It's kind of a slow burn, because Mark will say the same thing. It's a slow burn, but it's a very unique take on the whole mythos of Godzilla.
I'm definitely gonna have to check that out then. I will definitely check that out.
It's called Godzilla Singular Point. It's just dropped on Netflix. Everybody's raving about it. Like, all of our friends on Facebook have been raving about it. I like it. It's just I haven't finished it yet. I haven't seen it through yet, but I like where they're going so far. and I cannot wait for you to watch it because I can't wait to hear
Definitely. Yeah, I know last time we were talking about Godzilla, and the story of monsters was my, that's my jam. But
Yes.
I totally forgot about Final Wars. Final Wars was, oh my God, are you kidding? And then you had, who's that? Shane Kasugi was in that one too, right?
Yeah.
Was that Shane?
Kane Kasugi,
Yeah,
Joe's son,
Kane,
yeah.
Yes. You can't beat that. You got the, for me, the best looking Godzilla. You got Shane Kasugi. You got martial arts. You got Godzilla laying the smackdown on everyone. It's beautiful. And now you got this new iteration of Godzilla, the legendary, legendary picture. Godzilla is the king. Godzilla is the king of the monsters. There's just
It's one of the greatest moments ever.
Yes.
Beats up the camera.
Yo, I actually really loved Don Fry in Godzilla Final Wars. It was hilarious because he was the only one speaking English and he had these funny one-liners, but obviously he comes from your realm. He's a fighter.
yes.
So it was badass seeing him in the movie, and it's definitely one of the most entertaining Godzilla films ever. By far.
Godzilla. I don't know why. Obviously, the original conception of Godzilla. The commentary on nuclear war, nuclear weapons, and the whole 9 yards. But it seems, I think that's the greatest thing about these characters and these stories. They morph and they change to speak to the generation that's there. And, whether it's Godzilla, and you see this in the MCU too, they told the stories of the big mythic figures, whether it's Cap, Thor, Iron Man. But there's a new generation, new stories have to be told. And when people are able to, in Mortal Kombat, to tell you the truth, you have the OG trilogy, and then you have this expanding universe. When people are, and stories do that, and they speak to generations, that's magic. So yeah.
100%. So besides okay, I got a good question for you, Mr. Marquez. So Mark is kind of new to the whole Godzilla mythos. He did see some of the MonsterVerse movies, but he hasn't seen any of the older Showa era films like the Story of Monsters. What Godzilla movies would you recommend? You personally would recommend to Mark?
Okay, so again, the original Godzilla. I never actually saw, like, there's a couple of different versions of that, but the original Godzilla with Raymond Burr. You need that.
Right on.
Okay. Destroy All Monsters, and these are my favorite ones. And Final War. So those kind of encapsulate for me and I know that there's other versions and other eras of Godzilla or whatever, but for me those are the ones that had the magic for me. King Kong versus Godzilla, everybody loved that at the time. Godzilla taking the loss to Kong, man, that hurts a lot.
He got his revenge, though. Actually, I got another question. Did you manage to see Godzilla vs. Kong, the new one?
I have not watched the whole thing through. I've watched a whole bunch of clips, but I've not. But I'm familiar enough. What about it? I can't talk about it.
Okay. I was just gonna say I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's definitely a different thing. I personally didn't like it very much, but that's why I want to hear your opinion, because I didn't.
Yeah, it's a very divisive film in terms of people's attitudes for it. Half the audience really loved it. The other half thought it was the worst of all of the legendary kaiju movies. So we were just interested to see what you thought of it. So the next time we see you, we have to ask you that again after you've seen it.
Okay, so there's a lot of certain problems that I have with things. One of those things though is that so you have King Ghidorah, or Ghidra, or however you want to, call him or whatever. And he is, he's the big dog on, he's been the big dog on the block, for in any iteration. He's the big dog on the block. And, usually Godzilla needs, at least his boys Rodan and Mothra, let's go take care of business. If it comes down, all right, Godzilla's in a fight. He's in a fight if he has to fight Ghidorah by himself. But then you take Ghidorah off the board, and now you have his, you use his head and to kind of create Mechagodzilla. And Mechagodzilla is a human creation, wrapped around 21st century, science and technology. So, we're not even talking about something in a far distant future. This is 21st century technology that they're using a piece of the big dog. But there's no way, I'm sorry, I don't buy it that, 21st century technology can defeat Godzilla. And, now you need, it's not like Kong and Godzilla need to team up against Mechagodzilla. I don't buy it. Godzilla should be able to stomp Mechagodzilla by himself. The big dog is Ghidorah. If you're looking for a champion, it's Ghidorah. But I don't.
Yeah, you make an excellent point. No. You made an excellent point because you could argue that the movies are kind of out of order. Like Ghidorah should have been the build-up, the finale, not. Yeah.
Ghidorah, yes, and Ghidorah. Godzilla is king of the monsters. He's the alpha. He's the apex predator on Earth. But you know what? There are powers beyond what you think you know. And here comes Ghidorah. It's like, guys, ain't nobody's walking up on us and taking care of, we gotta go take care of some shit. Let's go. Yeah, but then oh my God! And if you had Kong in that, like you got Godzilla, you got Rodan, you got Mothra, and then you haven't even looked at my boy Kong here. Get this tool.
No, you're
exactly right. That's how.
I have to say, one of my favorite Godzilla movies ever is Monster Zero, Invasion of Astro Monster with Planet X, and the one that had Nick Adams and Akira Takarada. That's like my second favorite Godzilla movie of all time, because that one is just like, that's like the perfect Godzilla movie. You got alien invasion, they portray the human race, they have Ghidorah, Rodan, Godzilla under their control, and then they're like, oh, how are we going to stop this? Like, oh, and of course, Godzilla in space. Come on.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite ever.
But that's how it is. Where and that Ghidorah, he's no joke. He's no,
Yeah. 100%.
I totally agree. So
I want to get the elephant. Go ahead, Joe.
Jay says it's funny. It's fun arguing with you over GBK. Jay.
Yeah, I know. They like to pull my strings. So they know I'm not a fan of it. So a pretty good segue here, because last time we had you on the show, Mr. Marquez, it was before the Mortal Kombat movie. Now that the movie's out, I want to hear your general thoughts on the Mortal Kombat movie, and of course, Max Huang, who was fantastic playing you. So
fantastic. Okay, so let me go over here. Let's go over the good stuff.
Yes.
Max Huang, dude, big fan. And here's some stuff that maybe other people don't talk about.
Yes.
So here's some good stuff. So Max is also, he's a Chinese martial artist. Does wushu, just same thing. But what I specialize in is Northern Fist Chinese martial arts. What Max does is Southern Fist Chinese martial arts. And so, just in terms of the martial arts style, I'm glad that he's able to play to his strength, and I know he's done some Wing Chun before, and you see him attack with the Wing Chun
punch.
fist. Yeah, the chain punches, and you see that in the game, and you see that, this is something that this is very much his style of Chinese martial arts, Wing Chun and Southern fist. When he first pops in, he pops up under his hat and he lands in a single butterfly stance with the tiger claws or whatever. That's something very much out of Southern fist style. And then his whole attitude, I love. I hate to. Well, and Kung Lao's he's a slightly ass bastard. There's just no getting around it. And Max hit the nail on the head there.
Yes, he does. I loved it.
Yeah, like, dude, yes, you are Kung Lao. I loved everything about him. The thing that I didn't love about him is that they didn't let him do enough. You go.
Exactly. We all said the same thing.
Oh my God! You go on his on his social media. You see what he can do. He's badass. There's just no getting around it. He's badass. But within the movie of Mortal Kombat, like you don't get to see enough of his badassery.
Well, we did get the fatality though, but you're right. We didn't get enough of Kung Lao. And also, I also read that Max Huang, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of Jackie Chan's students. He was one part of Jackie Chan's stunt team.
Right. He's on the Jackie Chan stunt team. He's trained at the Jackie Chan Institute.
Yeah.
He was on the German wushu team or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So it's very we're very similar in our styles or whatever in the major styles, but as opposed to me being like a U.S. national wushu champion, he's a German wushu national champion. I do long fist or northern style, he does southern style, but it's just the evolution of the character. He's the Kung Lao for this movie, and and he hasn't a single out. And that's one of those things again. Whether it's me, whether it's Max, again, whether it's Paolo.
Yes. Mortal Kombat Conquest. Yep.
Yes. You got to be able to. He's not even like a quote unquote martial artist. He's a singer and
a dancer. Yeah.
Yes. So, but if you're gonna be Kung Lao, you gotta be able to sing, you gotta be able to dance, you gotta be able to do martial arts. This is how it's become. It is what it is.
Yeah. So speaking of singing and dancing, man, Kung Lao and the Scorpions. What's going on right now with the band? And now that we're kind of getting out of the pandemic area, are there plans to bring the band out again?
Yeah, so next week we are at Game Night Lockdown. It's this a big 40-hour festival in Wisconsin. It's a 40-hour lockdown festival. It's games. It's it's the whole geek culture, gaming and retro games and the whole 9 yards. And CNC Music Factory is playing there.
What? I
like to say that CNC Music Factory is opening for Kung Lao and the Scorpions.
Wow.
Nice.
Because they play on Friday and then we play on Saturday. So,
there we go.
So in a way, they're opening for us.
Right.
So speaking of Kung Lao and the Scorpions, everybody in the chat, for those who don't know, Mr. Marquez has his own band, Kung Lao and the Scorpions. You can get their music on Spotify and Apple Music, wherever you can find it. So definitely check it out. It's just amazing that this man, not only can whoop some ass as a martial arts, he's Kung Lao, but he's a rock star too. So.
It's all about, just having passion for what you're doing. And again, we've talked about this before, it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's martial arts, whether it's podcasting, whether it's music, having passion and knowing that, if you really want to do something and knowing, hey, you know what? In the beginning, I'm going to suck. Just get used to that. I'm going to suck. I'm going to be the worst person in the room, and eventually I'll get better, And if you do that, if you give yourself 2 years, you'll see how far you can go in just 2 years, just by every day, just doing a little bit, just doing a little bit, and doing a little bit, and not being afraid to being the worst person in the room. Because you put your work in, eventually you will no longer be the worst person in the room. Eventually, somebody else is going to be saying, wow, you're pretty good. Eventually, you're going to be somebody's going to be saying, you're a fucking rock star. And so this is what you have to do. Just find something that you want to do. No, if you really want to do it, just stick with it. And get over the fact that you're going to suck and you're going to be the worst person in the room. Because that's on day 1 that could happen, on day 50 that could happen, but eventually you will no longer be the worst person in the room. Eventually people are going to think, wow, you're pretty good. Eventually you're going to have Nerd Cage Live where it's just a freaking party every freaking time. So just do it.
Yes, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. That is the greatest advice that I think that anybody can have right now. We're definitely gonna live by it. You know, we're in our first year right now. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary, so we got 1 year not to suck. Thank you. We got 1 year not to start sucking. So.
Thanks for that. Go ahead, Joe.
Paul Taka has a question for Anthony. He wants to know if you ever studied under Yang Ming.
Who?
Yang Ming.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's probably a no, Paul.
We'll take that as a no.
Wait. Because the pronunciation. Oh.
I'm probably butchering it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's yeah. I think Joe got the pronounced it best he could here. I think he got it right. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, we're unsure, Paul. Actually, Joe, tackle that next question because that's a good one there, right after Paul there.
Okay, so my lineage, okay, like my real kung fu lineage. Okay, so and I've learned from various people. Many great fighters, many great martial arts masters. But Guo Jinhua is who I consider my master. His master is Wen Jinming, and he was one of the original heroes of China. He was one of those 6 heroes of China, and he actually studied at one point Jingwu Guan in Shanghai, which was an offshoot of the original Jingwu Guan from Fearless, Fujin, that character, the Jet Li movie Fearless.
Jet Li's character, yeah.
So there's a line to be drawn from the Jet Li character in Fearless to Wen Jinming to Guo Jinhua to Kung Lao. So there's a very clear line where that comes from.
Nice.
Zhang Qiangming. Who is Zhang Qiangming? The name is so familiar. I know that cat, but
Paul's saying that he brought Long Fists to the United States. He has a school in Texas. That's all I know. Is what he posted there.
Oh, okay. So he had. Okay, if it's the same cat that I'm thinking of, that cat has a big school in Texas, and he typically. If this is the same cat, and all of these guys get all kind of confused in my head. He has a big school in Texas, and especially the whole sometimes the whole national competitions there. Sometimes the stand-up championships are held there. But I'm drawing a blank. I can't believe this. I know who this cat is. I've probably met him like 50 million times, but I'm drawing a blank right
now. Norton's Chin wants to know what you teach martial arts wise.
Okay, so what we teach at the New White Lotus Society, also known as EKF Martial Arts, is Chinese martial arts, wushu, Chinese wushu, competitive wushu, which is Taolu and Sanda, which is Sanda is like Chinese style kickboxing, Muay Thai, which is Thai style kickboxing, Western style boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Tai Chi. So that's what we teach here. And then on Thursday nights, it serves as my rehearsal space for Kung Lao and the Scorpion.
Nice.
And I want to welcome Efren Munoz to the chat.
Oh! Hey, Efren, you might be able to help me out. Efren's master's Coach Lee, and so Efren knows all about Chinese martial arts. Who is this cat? Zhang Shengming. Who? Why am I drawing a blank? Efren, if you know, help me
let
out
us
here.
know. Yeah, absolutely, let us know because I'm kind of fascinated myself here. Also, Paul says that he wrote with Booze W. Jeffrey Bolt, Shaolin.
He wrote a book with Jeffrey Bolt,
okay.
Shaolin Long Fist Kung Fu.
Okay.
Okay, yes. Oh my God. Okay, so Zhang Xiaoming, yeah. Oh my God, I know this cat because Jeff Bolt is one of those old school wushu, one of the first generation Americans to do Chinese competitive wushu, this new style of kung fu or whatever. And so Jeff Bolt's in Texas. Why am I drawing a blank? I know everybody else in the freaking world except for who we're talking about, and I'm drawing a blank.
Right, and then as soon as we go off air, you're gonna be like,
oh my God, you know
that
cat.
So this is a pretty good segue right now. So one of the things we talked about off air was we wanted to get into some combat sports. So I know you're a huge UFC and MMA guy. I'm more of a boxing guy, but I got one that I want to get your opinion on because it's something that happened recently in the MMA world and boxing. So Mr. Marquez, are you familiar with Clarissa Shields?
Okay, so I am familiar with that. I didn't watch that fight.
Yeah.
I know that, I know she's a boxer.
Yes,
I know that
she's a boxer and went into MMA, and she won.
Yes. No, dude, you can't sleep on. Okay, this is the craziness. It's not boxing versus MMA versus whatever. Everything is great, but she's a highly accomplished boxer. Obviously, multiple world champion. Yeah. If you have that skill set and you could kind of deal with it, you don't need to be like a black belt in jiu-jitsu and NCAA wrestler and all of that stuff. But you do need to be able to deal with the takedown, be able to scramble off the back. Okay, if you want to keep it standing and you want to put the leather on them, you got to be able to deal with all of these different things. Dealing with, having your takedown defense, being able to scramble from the bottom. And if you can do that, and if you got some hands and you want to put some leather on someone, you are putting someone to sleep. There's just no getting around it. Okay? Yeah. It's the same, so it's the same thing. I don't know if you remember when James Toney fought Randy Couture. James Toney, he'll put you to sleep. He just, he'll put. But if you can't deal with, if you don't work on your takedown defense, if you can't keep the fight where you want it to go, then you're going to be in trouble. It doesn't matter if you're a boxer, it doesn't matter if you're a jiu-jitsu player, it doesn't matter if you're a Muay Thai fighter. If you can't keep the fight where you want it, and if you can't deal with the adversity of where you don't want it to be, you are going to lose. If you can keep it where you want it to be, you can win. It doesn't matter if that's why it's like boxing is great. Boxing, well, boxers will put their hands on you and make you go to sleep. It is what it is.
Well, I was just blown away because Clarissa Shields, she goes to, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I thought she was going to get smoked because she's an awesome boxer. She's basically like a lion going into a shark's den in the pool. And not only that she goes in to win in her MMA debut, but she got taken down and she got out of it. She was taken down, she got out of it. She defended her, she got her way out, and then she took her down and then beat her into submission.
But yeah, that's a beautiful thing about it. But again, you're not talking about, this boxer beat this MMA fighter. She's great at boxing, but like you just said, she got taken down. She was able to get out of that. She was able to take her opponent down. This makes her, if you have those skill sets and you can throw leather, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You are deadly. You are deadly. This is what it is.
She's the greatest, as far as I'm concerned, until someone beats her, she's the greatest woman of all time. She's the GOAT when it comes to boxing and MMA. She's the GOAT female fighter, man, for real. She's just that good. And it's awesome. I mean, she embarrasses men as far as I'm concerned when it comes to fighting. She's just that damn good. So, Mr. Marquez, I'm not too big on UFC, but what's your favorite weight class? Who are some of your favorite fighters right now in UFC?
Okay, so UFC all time, GSP is my guy. That is my guy. He had, the skill set, the work ethic. There's more to fighting than just being able to, to win the competition. And for me, GSP, his skill set is great across the board, but he has he carries himself as a martial artist. I totally buy into that type of stuff. And he's, if you watch him, he's a big geek too. He's a UFO guy. He's a dinosaur guy. He's just a freaking geek. So I love that guy. Khabib, I love Khabib. He just recently retired.
Yeah.
So,
I just remember when he beat McGregor. That's how I knew who he was.
So I love that guy. To tell you the truth, my favorite fighter right now, my favorite current fighter is Tawanchai. Tawanchai fights in one championship, and he just fights Muay Thai. He fights Muay Thai in one championship.
Yeah.
One championship is the big Asian MMA organization. But if you're asking for my current most favorite fighter right now is Tawanchai, and then Stamp Fairtex. Stamp is a female fighter who fights in one championship, and she's my favorite female fighter.
Nice.
And Zhang Wei Li was my favorite. I take that back. She's my favorite fighter in the UFC, and she got smoked by Rose in the last fight. Hopefully she'll come back. Rose is great too. Rose has, she's nothing but class, respect, and skill. But Zhang Wei Li was my cat. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and you can get knocked down. It's all about getting back up. Let's hope she can just get back up and keep moving.
Another question, sir. How many of your students have you trained that competes in fighting in UFC? Any of your students that compete?
No. So typically, I have one fighter I take that back. I have a handful of fighters who've turned professional. None of my fighters fight in the UFC. My last guy who was fighting, he won the amateur, and I talk about him in the book actually. Danny Flores. He trained with us. I got him to, he won a belt with us. But again, a lot of the stuff with the UFC also is about connection. Yeah. This is not something that, drives me. I'm not, we're not connected to the UFC. So he went to Alliance MMA, and that's, so he's training with like Dominic Cruz and UFC fighters there. That's the route that people go. Another of my fighters, Azamat, who was very much Khabib before Khabib, or maybe during the same time. He won a belt for us, and then he moved on. Well, we're more like, in terms of MMA fighting, we're like a college or whatever, and you go from here, and then you go to you get recruited out of college to an NFL team or whatever, and that puts you in the UFC. So it's set up like that. So so that's what we're at.
Awesome.
I could get to a certain point, and then it's time to move on. And and I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally happy when cats want to, if that's their goal, I can get you to a certain point, and then we move you on. So
excellent. So one more thing. So I guess we'll tackle one more topic before we probably call it a night here, because I don't want to take too much of your time.
Hang on.
Yep. So Mr. Marquez, a few times.
I do get passionate about everything that we talk about.
Yes, I love
That's
it.
awesome.
I love your
We love
passion. So, Mr. Marquez, one last thing before we probably wrap it up here. You and I have talked on and off a few times about some boxing. I figured it's a good transition. And one fighter we have in common, someone who I've been pretty much watching my whole adult life, Manny Pacquiao, at age 42, is going to go up against a certified killer in Errol Spence, August 20th.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that real quick, man, because normally I always root for the American fighter, but Pacquiao's an exception, and I'm scared for him, honestly. He's got guts at age 42 to fight Errol Spence. What do you got?
Dude, yeah. And Spence is a killer. He's what, maybe, he's one of the, best pound for pound fighters out there right now.
Yes, he is.
And we've been talking about Pacquiao not in 2020, not in the 2010s, but freaking before that, in the early 2000s. This cat has miles. This cat has miles on him, and yes, and he's going up against a killer. And at some point, there's the end of the road.
I know.
And I am scared for this cat, but to do something that you love, and he's still fighting at a who's the last
Keith Thurman.
What was the last?
He put Keith Thurman on his ass.
He put Thurman down. He put him down in the first round. Are you kidding me? And it was like 157 years old already at that point. And so yes, whether if it's the end of the road for him, I'm sad, but he's been great.
Well, this is his last fight. Win or lose, he's going out like a G.
And when you watch, people making their picks, he has a legitimate. People think he has a legitimate shot. This could be crazy.
I know.
At 42 years old, oh my, yes, it's crazy, but. I don't know.
I'm rooting hard for Manny because I've been watching ever since he blew De La Hoya out of the ring back in 2008. I've been watching all his fights. I love the dude. I don't think he can win, but I'm going to root for him. I mean, if he can just at least go the distance with Spence, that's a win in my book, man. I really, win or lose, draw, I hope the best for Manny, but man, if he wins, if he somehow beats Spence, the argument for GOAT has got to be in the conversation.
Oh my God, yes. And you're talking about De La Hoya. He made De La Hoya look like he was moving in slow motion in that fight. Oh my God. And just kept changing angles, moving. Oh, that was, that really was the thing that blew him onto the world. He had to fight before that, but that was the thing that really blew him onto the world stage. And that was, my jaw dropped, your jaw dropped.
Yeah.
De La Hoya's jaw dropped.
Yeah.
He dropped. He couldn't answer. What was that? He couldn't get off the stool for the 8th round or whatever.
Yep, I remember.
Oh my God! And De La Hoya is a he's a legend.
Manny came up 2 weight classes. Manny came up 2 weight classes to meet him at there, and it's just, and the fact that he's still, Manny had a few losses along the way, but at age 42, and he's still going against dudes, in their 20s and their early 30s, like top,
legit,
he's not fighting tomato cans. He's fighting like top level. And to fight Spence, who's right now probably the best in his division.
Yes.
It's mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing, yes. You have not said anything that I don't agree with 100%.
Yeah. So real quick before we move on, what's your honest prediction for that fight?
Okay, I'm gonna go with the decision loss.
Okay.
For Pacquiao.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that, in my heart of heart, I want this cat to win.
Yep.
I know, he can win. If he does win, I don't see, his name goes, in the conversation
exactly.
for gold. There's no way, because you're talking about, 8 weight classes over 4 decades or whatever. It's just crazy. It's crazy how good for so long this cat could be across so many different weight classes. It's amazing.
Mark, Joe, you guys got predictions for that fight?
Not really.
Joe watches boxing with me, so. And let's see. Hold on. I think Mark might have froze, but Mark, if you got a prediction, man, I think we just lost Mark's connection here. That's all right. Yeah. Mark's connection froze. That's all right.
Well, in the meantime, Efren has a question for Anthony. He says, in 1982 or 83, did you, Dan Pacina, Ho Sung, Ho Hung, and Rich Divizio drive from Chicago to Ohio to see the Beijing Wushu team?
Oh, okay. So, no, not in 1982. This was 1986. This was 1986. So, and this was the Beijing Wushu team. Oh my God. This was one of those. Okay, so, there's some life-changing things that happen. And, seeing the Beijing Wushu team in 1986 with Coach Lee. Oh my God. This was the most amazing thing in the world. It was like, for Wushu players, it was like watching the Dream Team. That version of the Beijing Wushu team was like the 1992 NBA Dream Team. It was stacked across the board. Everybody was a superstar. And then, let's say, we're playing for, let's just turn it around. Let's say the Chinese, the level of martial arts here in America in the time was like China basketball. Yeah, it's good. They can play whatever. But you stack the, China basketball up against the freaking Dream Team. That's the gap. And so it's the gap between, Chinese martial arts here in America and, the Wushu Dream Team. And it was just an amazing, oh my God, just like back in the day when, when you're playing against a Dream Team and then you're asking for autographs afterwards, who does that? It's exactly that same feeling. It's like, oh my God, yeah, we're the best in the country. But you guys are like freaking gods. So yes, that was the greatest, one of those great life-changing things. And then that was, that kind of helped play into the, dude, you know what? We want to be the best. The only place we're going to be, have a shot at being the best is going to China, and that's one of those things where we gotta go. And then we're running around with the freaking buckets with the knives on our arms, running up the hill. Yes, that's exactly how that all played out.
Excellent. All right, so Mr. Marquez, I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I know you got your class and stuff like that, but. We definitely want to have you back on real soon, and man, thanks so much for coming back. And I'm glad we got to talk about all this stuff.
Yes, and again, it doesn't matter. If we're talking about martial arts, combat sports, MCU, DCEU, Godzilla, Dragon Ball. If you're a nerd, you should be in Nerd Cage Live because this is where all of this stuff exists. You might be able to throw leather, but you're still a freaking nerd. Let's just face it.
We love that endorsement, man. Thank you so much, man. You have, in many ways, turned out to be like the perfect guest because you know about all this stuff that we love and that we like to talk about.
Oh, dude, if we lived in the same city, we'd be going out and getting a drink, watching movies, and we'll just be hanging out.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
I plan on being in Chicago next year. If G-Fest happens next year, I'll be in Chicago. If you guys bring back Combat Con, I will be there. I promise. And I'll hit you up.
Dude, let's go.
Yes.
Awesome.
This is dude. It's
Before
like
we
hanging
go-
out with my childhood hero, man. Like, that's what's up.
I think Paul has one last question. He says, Anthony, have you ever met Bausim Mark?
So yes. So both and Mark, one of her students, Nick Grayson, and I know Efren knows this cat too. I trained under Nick also. He's also a big first generation American Wushu guy. Both and Mark's son. Does anybody know who Both and Mark's son is? Anybody?
No.
Anybody?
But anybody in chat? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's a delay in our chat, so if someone knows.
But Bosun Mark's son is none other than Donnie Yen.
What?
Wow.
So
Wow.
So everybody knows each other. So I met Bosun Mark. I've trained with. I never trained with her, but I trained with one of her top students, Nick Grayson. Nick Grayson used to hang out. Obviously, hung out with Donnie Yen. It's all such a small world. And then like Ho Young was roommates with Robin Shu back in China, and Robin Shu played Liu Kang, and Ho Sung was Liu Kang. Everybody knows everybody, except I don't freaking remember who Zhang Chengming is.
You're gonna remember as soon as we go off the air. You're gonna be like, yes, I know who this guy is.
Yo, there's one more question there, Joe. I see it, Joe. Tackle that one last question there.
All right. Efren wants to know what the status is on the fan film Mortal Kombat Legend Never Dies.
Okay. So there's this fan film, and I know they're they did a Kickstarter and all of that.
Yeah, Master Pacina's promoting it.
Yes, and this this is really Danny's baby, or he's really here's something for you guys. So Danny, you guys seen Ocean's 11, right?
Yes.
Are you guys familiar with Ocean's 11? Danny Pacina, real name is Danny Ocean. Let's just face it. And you know who this cat is? This cat is Brad Pitt. So Danny does everything. Danny's the shot caller. He's the guy who plans the heist and everything like that. And then you got the Rockstar guy who just hangs out with Danny. So, but I take my marching orders from Danny Pacina. Wherever he wants to go, he knows that if he wants me along, I'll be there. I got his back. I got his six. Danny's my guy. He's been my guy forever. It was me, Danny, Hosang, Rich, Carlos, that whole Mortal Kombat group. Before Mortal Kombat, Danny's always going to be my guy. He's always my Danny Ocean, and I'm always his Brad Pitt. Wherever Danny's running the show, and he says, "Hey, Tone, we're going overseas to shoot this thing. Are you in?" Like, dude, you're my guy. You say we're going. What do you want?
One of these nights we gotta get you both on together. That'd be a blast.
Oh,
yes.
That would be a blast, dude.
I can't wait to hear them stories.
Yes, I got. There's so much I would love to tell you guys about Danny, but I don't want to talk about Danny behind his back. Put him on the show, and I'm talking.
All right.
We will do it. We'll find a way to do it. Absolutely. So yeah, we'll call it a night. So Master Marquez, is there anything you want to promote, or any message for the fans and the Mortal Kombat fans before we go?
Check out Kung Fu Rockstar on Amazon.
Links in the description, people.
But yeah, it's a good book. It's an interesting book. Make sure to check out Kung Lao and the Scorpions, and make sure, if you're a nerd, get into Nerd Cage Live.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much. Again, we cannot wait to have you back. When we get off air, we got this question for you when we get off air. If you want to stick around for a quick minute. So real quick, Joe, is there anybody in the chat to say goodbye in the chat real quick? And just think, anyone who's in the chat, just want to just give them a quick goodbye real quick.
Oh, yeah. Let's thank Norton's Chin, Paul Tackett, Titan Goji, Shay Smithers, Efren. Who else is in here?
Yeah, I think it's all of them. Shay Smithers, I see
you. And anybody I didn't get, thank everybody.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in today. I love doing this stuff. I love these guys, so thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
And Mark, real quick, anything to promote real quick before we go, Mark?
Yeah, this week we dropped, if anybody who hasn't seen it yet, we just dropped an episode on the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Please go check that out. We had a ton of fun making it. I had a ton of fun editing it. It was one of the most challenging edits that I've done, but I think that it turned out really great. I'm really proud of it. So I hope that you guys enjoy that. In addition, we now have a Nerd Cage discussion group on Facebook. We just started that yesterday. I'm sure that Jay's going to put the link in the description here.
Yep, it's there.
But yeah, definitely come check us out. It's just a discussion group where we can not only talk about this show, but talk about any movie, TV, anything that nerds love in general. It's just a place for us to hang out and commune. So please come join us.
Absolutely, well said, Mark. Yeah, the link is in the description. The Nerd Cage Live discussion group just went up, and you guys have been popping ever since it went up. So thank you for that. Real quick, next week's show, we're welcoming back Titan Goji and Kush from the Hub. Will be joining us next week together. That should be a blast because there's a lot of stuff we're going to cover. On top of that, we're going to do a movie giveaway. So I have in my hands, we're going to give away a digital copy of Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. We're giving away a digital copy, so be sure to tune in next week to get a chance to win. Very looking forward to that. That's all I got. Again, Joe, Fallen One Gaming, thanks for handling the chat. You did fantastic, Mark. Always a pleasure working with you. And Mr. Anthony Marquez, thank you so much again for taking time off your busy schedule to hang out with us. It's always a blast. We cannot wait to have you back.
Yes, and let's do this one with Danny. I would love to do that.
We will do it. We'll find a way. You heard it here, guys. Okay, so yeah, Mr. Marquez, just stick around for a minute here. Just gonna say goodbye to everybody real quick. So before we go, we ask you to please like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread this shit like syphilis. So USA, from Louisville to Chicago to Syracuse, New York, and to all of our friends and fans around the world at Nerd Cage Live. As always, enjoy life, stay safe, and good night.
Sayonara.
Yes.
Good night, Nerd Cage Nation.
Ooh, trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about Nerd Cage Live!